Member for Milton.
The most difficult thing for families dealing with developmental disabilities is being told that their loved ones aren't wanted. And in fact, what this government said is that they were no longer operationally required. So I hope that they'll do better in dealing with this going forward. Another problem they have, of course, Mr. Speaker, is the fact that the immigration system is broken. We heard that today from the Auditor General himself. And I'm wondering if the Prime Minister can tell us whether or not he will be accepting the recommendations of the Auditor General, implementing them, and fixing this problem that his government caused.
Honourable Prime Minister.
We thank the Office of the Auditor General for the report, and we will, of course, be looking carefully at all the recommendations. But what the report clearly demonstrates is how inefficient and poorly resourced the asylum system was when it was left behind by the Conservatives. We committed to fix the underfunded asylum system, and work is already bearing fruit. Budget 2019 includes the largest investment in the history of the IRB to help it make fast, fair, and final decisions. We've also cleared the legacy backlogs where Conservatives had people waiting up to 8 years for a final hearing.
Member for Milton.
Well, Mr. Speaker, on February 21st, 2017, the official opposition started asking questions about the Roxham Road illegal express entry that this government had opened up through Twitter. Mr. Speaker, it's taken them over 2.5 years to actually admit to the fact and be told by the Auditor General that there is indeed a problem. What do? In a complete lack of leadership, they blame something from somebody else's regime 5 years ago. They take no responsibility themselves, and it lies at their feet. What will they do to fix this system?
Honourable Prime Minister.
Once again, Mr. Speaker, we see the Conservatives attempting to stir up fears amongst Canadians about things that they don't need to be worried about. We have made sure that every single person crossing our borders, whether it's legally or illegally, gets processed according to all our rules. We have seen over the past years all around the world an increase in migrations, in asylum seekers happening everywhere, and Canada is not immune to that, but we have a strong immigration system that continues to apply all its steps to everyone crossing the border.
The Honourable Member for Charlesbourg-Saint-Charles. Mr. Speaker, today the Auditor General was scathing in his description of how the Prime Minister allowed abuse of our Canadian immigration system, a system that used to be fair and compassionate. The Auditor General's findings are damning and clearly prove that the system is broken because of the Prime Minister's illegal border crossing program at Roxham Road. When will the Prime Minister apologize to Canadians and the whole world for having normalized the abuse of our immigration system? The Right Honourable the Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to thank the Auditor General for their report. The report shows clearly how the asylum-seeking system was inefficient and poorly resourced by the previous government. We were committed to resolving the problem, and our work is already giving fruit. Budget 2019 include the highest investments in history in the IRB so that they can make final additions quickly and fairly. We have also eliminated the legacy backlogs from the Conservatives, under which people had to wait 8 years for their final hearing. The Honourable Member for Charlesbourg-Saint-Charles. Mr. Speaker, all the Prime Minister is saying is completely false. In 2012, the Harper government put measures in place to accelerate this system. But who was it who sent out a tweet inviting the whole world to Canada? 40,000 people since then have crossed the border. The system is broken. The Auditor General confirmed that. Will the Prime Minister stop just speaking foolishness and do something to fix the problem? The Right Honourable the Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, once again, the Conservatives are stirring up fears, trying to make them fear the system when we have a system that is strong and that applies to everyone crossing our borders, whether they're crossing legally or illegally. The reality, Mr. Speaker, is that throughout the world, we are in an era now where people are crossing borders more and more, looking for help or a new life, and we in Canada are not immune to that. But we have a rigorous, strong system that applies to everyone.
For Burnaby South.